Hey, you're listening to Tech Talks with Lou, and I'm Lou Temlett. I hope you're having a good day, and I'm really thankful for you listening. So, this is Tech Talks with Lou, the show in which I discuss the top tech secrets for success from the best in today's digital world. Last time, I spoke with Matt Young, founder of The Journaling Guy, and we spoke about men's mental health and helping men of all ages to start journaling and communicating more. If you haven't already listened, head back after this episode and let me know what you think. My guest today has 14 years on wheels and has always been a mover and a groover. And their mission is to get as many people skating as possible, even the likes of me. I'd like to welcome Juice to my podcast, sometimes known as Ceejay. Hi, Ceejay. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, fabulous. Thank you so much for joining me. It's a pleasure to actually speak to you rather than watch your Instagram reels and videos on skating and get this time on a one-to-one to ask you all the backstory about your skating history.
Yeah, it's nice to actually speak to you too. You know, it's different when you speak to people via Instagram and it's just messaging to actually get to speak voice to voice. And also see face to face now. So,
and I will make it over to Bump Roller Disco in Bristol at some point very soon. Now I know where it is.
Yes.
So we're here to talk about technology and skating. But first of all, I kind of want to delve back into your skate and even your dance history to know a bit more about you and kind of what brought you to this space, really.
So yeah, I started from the age of 7. I was a professional dancer signed to a company called GWI, who focused mainly on street dance. But then later on, when we started entering competitions and stuff, we had to broaden our dance ability. So we started learning different styles like contemporary, jazz, and by the time it would be a little bit of tap and other elements of dance, just so we can compete and take it to the next level to outdo our competitors, and I did that to the age of 23 before I finally stopped dancing.
Wow. So you started off kind of competing really early. That's amazing. So you were that good, like from the offset?
Yeah, I was a natural dancer, and there
Wow.
was a company came round where I lived to one of the youth club places, just looking for new talent to join, and me and a few of my friends, we auditioned and we all got in. As far as the kids, I was the first kid that they actually put onto their books, and then my friends were after. So it's like it's a cool thing for me. So
oh, that's amazing! I'm so pleased to hear that there are I'm assuming you're not just 20, so kind of back in the day that there was kind of talent scout. That kind of reminds me of my wish to be talent scouted back in the day on skates, because yes, I did dance like you did from an early age.
Nice.
And did I think I did competitions. I certainly did exams and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I remember getting skates, the kind of blue and yellow roller skates as a kid, maybe 5, 6 years old, and just skating up and down outside my parents' house and thinking I was absolutely the bee's knees, to the point where I was kind of showing off and going, I just want to be talent scouted for Cats at the West End. Sadly, I wasn't, so I've missed out on a life of West End musical stage work, to my broken heart. But you got in there. You were talent spotted from a dance perspective. And all the different styles of dance as well, it seems.
Yeah, we covered pretty much most styles, breaking as well, a little bit of Lindy Hop as I got older. Yay! Not my favorite, but I've done it.
You kind of have to have a bit of energy for that one.
Yeah, it is full on.
So what was your favorite style of dance before we move on to the skating?
My favorite, I liked contemporary, and I liked street dance. Just because with street dance, it was kind of it's all the other elements of dance, but without the rules. And so you do a move, you see a move, you can kind of mimic it, but make it your own at the same time. And you don't have to worry about being that a certain point or position to be correct, the arm in a certain place, you could alter it so it
Yeah.
makes it become your move rather than someone else. And that's what I liked about street dance and contemporary, just because
Nice.
it kept my body moving, big
Yeah.
moves, stretching, and
Nice. So how come the transition to skating? What was the trigger point at kind
um,
of 2023?
yeah. So when I got to 23, it was kind of like I was doing jobs, competitions, and also working in and out of uni. And it's like I need to decide what I'm gonna do. Back then, dance, it was so hard to make it big to the mainstream. Um, we had a few people, not even diversity was had one Brains Got Talent by then. And so I just had to make a decision. What am I going to do? Am I going to just carry on dancing and go with that dream? Or do I just, as they say, find a real job? Um, you know,
Oh, there's always
so
that challenge with creatives
that
in
is
that
it.
sense.
So I stopped dancing. I was just working. Still, I was doing like logos and customizing on clothes for people just to kind of keep the creativity going. And then I was an insurance broker at my last proper job, as they say. Um, and I one day I just was like, I can't do this no more. So I just literally, I didn't know how to quit, so I just stood up in the room and was like, sorry, everyone, I quit, thinking that was it, smooth, I can just walk out the door. And then they were like, they always think I'm a joker. So they're just like, stop it, CJ. We know you're messing around. Go home, have a day to think about it, come in the next day. So I came in the next day with my box to empty my drawer and I said, guys, I quit. And after that, I done body piercing and tattooing for a while to keep my creative side going, as I love art. And then a friend wanted to go skating for his birthday at a rink called Bagley's in London. And never done it before, so I done it. Was terrible, Bambi on ice,
Yeah.
gold medal for me on that. Terrible. And then I saw speed skating and I thought, that's not that fast. I can give it a go. Tried to give it a go. Some guy went past, took me out, went flying in the air.
No
And after
way.
that, I bought skates that night and this is where I am now.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. So just taking that opportunity to have a go,
Yeah,
um, to quit your job. And yeah, that was a pretty brave move. But I guess there was that kind of energy and passion for creativity that you just go, okay, I can't do this anymore. It's
yeah,
got to be that swift change from one thing to another. And just taking that kind of, brave step to go on wheels, shall we say, because it sounds like you did the transition pretty
yeah,
quickly.
yeah. It literally was.
So
But
what, tell me about your first pair of skates.
so my first pair of skates was I bought them on eBay. They were some Bauer turbos, the plastic ones that everyone says, oh yeah, back in my day I had the Bauer
Yeah.
turbos. There's some of those. I got them for I think it was about £30 on eBay. And I had them for about a month. And then
Yeah.
I got rid of them. I didn't like them. They're not comfortable at all. And they look cool, and people used to put the sock over it and stuff. But
Yeah.
for me, I need something that holds my foot. I don't
Yeah.
like my foot being able to move around. So then a few of us in London, we was thinking, what other boot can we to get? We didn't like the look of figure skates back then.
Yeah.
It's they weren't cool enough still for us because we hadn't explored the rest of the world.
Yeah.
And so this was like looking at ice hockey boots, and we can start converting them all up ourselves to roller skates, so then we could skate. It had durability for outside, but
Oh,
still
wow.
held your foot a bit better than the bad turbo. So yeah,
Wow.
they were
So
my
you did
first skates.
some kind of product innovation and kind
A
of
little bit,
customizing the boot that you liked with the kind of skates or the roller bits underneath
yeah.
that
We
worked
was
well.
winging it. We
That's
winged it for
and
sure.
then they were safe?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We just looked at a natural skate, looked at those, and just copied it really, put the holes in, screwed it in, put it together.
That's very cool. So as well as the creativity, you've got some kind of technical background in terms of, okay, logistics, engineering, I'm just gonna do this and do that, and that's how that works.
Yeah,
That's
a
pretty
bit of that
cool.
on YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube. I love
All
it.
failed.
So one of the things that I worry about, I bought myself some skates for one of my more recent birthdays, thinking, it was a really good idea, and did one of your classes online during lockdown, which I absolutely loved. I'm still scrubbing the kind of rubber skate marks off my floor, thank you. Um, but that's all fun. So but I've got stoppers on mine, and that's one of the things that I kind of get really anxious about is the falling over, and then the kind of life insurance that might go along with
Yeah.
falling over. So tell me a bit about that, because I see you skating now, and you don't have stoppers on. So, and obviously you've been skating for years, and you're very experienced. But how could one transition from no stopper to looking, or to with stoppers, to looking really cool with no stoppers?
For most people, they have their stoppers on, but they don't actually use the stoppers. Okay, so a lot of it is just it's there because it's security.
Yeah.
If you're gonna lose your balance, you can just tilt your foot forwards and you'll be on the stopper. But in general, when you're skating, a lot of people don't use that front stopper. Some do, don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
but there is a lot that don't. So once you take them off, automatically, if you haven't been using them, you go for them because you know they're gone. So your brain is telling you your stoppers, they're not there. So you automatically try and use them. So what I tell people to do is to buy another pair of stoppers, just like the ones they've got, and just cut it down. So cut it in half.
Oh,
So then you still got the stopper there. So it helps with your mindset.
yeah.
But it's just that it's higher up. So now you're gonna have to tilt your foot even more to reach the stopper. Okay, so it's kind of like a halfway mark.
Yeah.
Um, and just skate like that for a while. And then if you really and also that what that would do is allow you to do a lot more of the skate moves and tricks still because now you have more space between your stopper and the floor.
Oh,
While
nice.
still having an actual stopper. And then yeah, once you get comfortable with that and you find that you're not really dependent on the stopper anymore, then you transfer over to the jam plug.
Oh, nice. I remember many years ago, because I know you just wear the kind of shoe boot without the
Uh,
kind of
the jam
ankle
skate.
section now. What's it called? A jam skate?
Yeah, so there's you got derby skates, speed skates, and jam skates, which are all without the ankle.
Oh my gosh. I remember with my son years and years ago, and he's just about to turn 12. But we were kind of doing a vision board, and I was like, oh my gosh, let's have a look at skates. Um, and we found these gorgeous ones, the Rydell ones, but
Oh, yeah.
they were about £700, and I was like, okay, Ben, we're not in the market for these. We were kind of making ends meet, but
Yeah.
they're still on my vision board somewhere. The beautiful, shiny, gorgeous. But I need to learn to skate first without
Yeah.
stoppers. We
Yeah.
can dream and have these gorgeous things.
That's
Anyway,
it.
so I've been following you for quite a while on social media and have noticed your exponential growth, and your, helping people to learn and understand skating. So tell me about
Yeah.
your journey on social media.
Um, so with social media, it all started off just as a storage space for me, and just so I can make videos or pictures of my life and just store it without it taking up space on my phone. Um, and then when I really got into skating and kind of found a technique on how to like not teach in person, but for the teaching online, just to like really simplify it and make it so then that way you're not just getting bombarded with this information and to the point where your brain can't process it to actually try the move. So yeah, I tried to figure it out. Took a few tries on TikTok and Instagram, going from 1 minute tutorials, breaking it down to 30 seconds, getting it down to 15. Um, and now it's not really about the length of time. It's just about the demonstration. I found simple demonstration. You can look at it and you can copy it. It also helps for those who maybe have hearing difficulties and can't listen to me speak on on the videos.
Yeah.
And so therefore, instead of me typing everything and then the screen being full of words, which is hard, it's hard to copy an instruction and to read the
Yes.
words as well. I just do the instruction, just do the movements nice and slow, and it's like a follow along, and then
Yeah.
we speed it up at the end. and then that became the key. It's never failed. I also use the technique in person as well when I'm teaching face to face with a bit more instruction afterwards.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that's that's
Do
it.
you think your growth on social media and the way you teach on social media has influenced the way you teach in person?
Yes, because basically, so in person at first, I used to teach, and I used to, sometimes you would over explain because sometimes you think the person's not getting it and stuff, so you just bombard them with more information, different
Yeah.
versions, and ways, and then all that's doing is just making it harder for them. So by using social media and finding a way to simplify everything, it also kind of helped me with being able to teach people in different ways, um, without bombarding them with still too much information. Like there's some people they work better with like patterns and stuff like that. And so therefore, rather than like say, okay, we gotta keep our feet in this shape, we got step, step, step. I'll be like one, two, one, two, one, two, three, four. And then they get that kind of rhythm and pattern going.
Yeah.
And then
Nice.
that's it, and it helps them definitely with like children with disabilities as well.
You're listening to Tech Talks with Lou, and I'm Lou Temlett. And today I'm talking with Juice. So, you kind of started out dancing and then moved on to skating a bit later. But there's a point in your life prior to that where you weren't able to walk. So, tell me a bit about that because it feels like a
Yeah.
massive hurdle to overcome.
Yeah, so I could walk at first. I just had Crohn's disease, which we didn't know about. I was just one of the shortest in my school, and my mum was a bit concerned. And so we went to the doctors, had some tests done, found out that I had Crohn's disease. Um, and then once they're doing all the tests, I started getting really sick to the point where like I had to go on a liquid diet for a few years. I had to go
Wow.
on steroids, and I've had two operations. When I had my first operation, I was in I was in hospital for 6 months because that's how long it took for me to be able to like walk around comfortably without any major pain and without risk of my stitches coming undone. And then I was at home for the other year, just being a home tutored because I couldn't go to school just in case there was any situations that could have caused me to my stomach to kind of rip open again. Um,
Wow.
when I was in that time, it took me 6 months to leave the hospital, just due to the pain, and also um, for me, this is the worst thing I've ever had to deal with. So it was, at first it was like the smallest move. I was crying. My sisters would come and see me, trying to make me laugh to cheer me up, but it was hurting. I was like crying,
Mm.
happy but
Oh gosh.
crying, and things like that. And then I met a lady, and she was like talking to me about pain and stuff, and she said that it's more of a thought than a feeling. You think about the pain before you feel it.
Mm.
And when I was a really young child, like about 5 or 6, I remember once when I cracked my head open, and I didn't realize until my friend pointed it out that my head was bleeding, and then I felt the pain.
Yeah.
So when I had the second operation, I kind of remember what she said, and I kind of put that into play. And within 3 weeks, I was out of the hospital. So it took me only 3 weeks to be able to walk, and I had the same operation. It was just the mindset was different.
Yeah, that's amazing. I've just got goosebumps listening to you. And I really believe the mindset is kind of dealing
Yeah,
with pain. If you don't know, if you're kind of unknowing or
yeah,
you're, kind of think about the positive, um, I don't necessarily want to talk about childbirth, but when I had my first child, I had a C-section, and I was
yeah,
at home by kind of day 2, day
yeah,
3 vacuuming
yeah,
after having a C-section, and it's like, well, I was told off day 5 because of the severity of the operation. And
yeah,
I was like, yeah, but I feel fine. My
yeah,
recovery is so quick. But yeah, I kind of lost the mindset after that one for my second C-section. And you go, oh yeah, okay, that's what I need to remember.
yeah,
But I completely resonate and go, it is completely a mindset thing,
yeah,
but it has so much power in what you can achieve in life.
yeah,
And from that point, you've achieved a huge amount.
yeah,
You're incredibly well known in the skating industry, and yeah, you're just doing absolutely amazingly. I kind of want to talk a bit more about the tech around skating,
yeah,
just for those kind of skate fanatics that want to know a bit more, because
yeah,
technology is not just kind of computers are kind of bringing the technology of the thing to
yeah,
light and making it more understandable for those that don't know anything about
yeah.
technology behind skating. So the floor is yours, or the dance floor is yours. No, the skate rink is yours. All of them. It's all yours,
Yeah,
CJ. Go for it.
yeah. So like the tech could kind of with skating is this one thing I would say at first is a lot of people always they ask me the one question is what skate do I need to get? You know,
Yeah,
or where do I get an outdoor skate to an indoor skate? And these are the questions that they're the hardest ones to answer. Well, one of them's easy. The other one is really hard. The first one is there's no indoor outdoor skate. It's the wheels. You know,
yeah,
the wheels is what makes it indoor and outdoor. So you can get any pair of skates you want that you like, and you just adjust the wheels to what you're going to use them for, have it being indoor or outdoor. Now, the hard question, definitely in the UK, because we don't really have many skate shops where you can try skates on, is what's the right pair of skates for me to get. Now, there's two main versions of skates. You get a heeled skate where it's got a little bit of a heel, so the foot is more slant, and then
yeah,
you get a boot with no heel, and that's when the foot is completely flat. Um, Now, if you're when you've got the flat boot, most of your weight is on your heels when you're standing still. When you're moving around, it obviously it varies. But when you're standing still, most of your weight is on your heels in your natural standing position. When we stand on foot, our weight is on our heels, most of it. Okay. And so when you got those flat boots with no heel, you have to put more weight on front. Otherwise, you're going to be falling back a lot.
yeah,
So if you ever get to go to a rink and they have a flat and a heeled boot, my best advice is to try both to find out if you're someone that's quite heavy on your heels, then you're going to struggle with a flat boot because most
yeah.
times you're going to just have too much weight on your heels. If and then that way you know you need to go to a heeled boot so it brings your weight forward slightly. Um,
Ah,
and vice versa. Some of them people they don't really like. I don't. I can skate in a heeled boot, but I prefer the flat. It just feels more natural to me. So
yeah.
therefore, I always refer back to flat boots when I can.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I mean, all of the skating I've seen you do is all on flat boots,
yeah,
and check out Juice on social media. His skating is amazing. The crazy legs I like the best.
that believe it or not, that's one of the moves I hated the most, and it's just because I couldn't I didn't know how to do it do it, and there was no one to teach me. Um, no one wanted to help me. I'd ask them. I'd be like, "Oh, that move's cool. How do
Yeah.
you do it?" They show me once and then run away. It's like it was their secret. Um,
Oh,
and so for me, I hated the move. It took me ages to learn. Even when I learned it, everyone wanted to learn it themselves. It was just
yeah,
like, oh my god, this is the hardest move to teach.
yeah,
It's got so many stages. But at that stage, I didn't really understand how like the breaking it down to that level.
yeah.
Because this
And
is
I guess,
before. Go
yeah,
on.
and I guess that's where your style of teaching now makes it easier to understand.
Yeah.
Can you just give us a brief description of what Crazy Legs looks
So
like?
yeah. So crazy legs is basically the shuffle is when you're doing this, where it's heel
Yeah,
toe motion, and
yeah,
then there's another version called the hex where you come in, sorry, the X where you're going like this.
yeah.
Okay.
So
Now
that's kind
this
of
is
a
this.
zigzag. Yeah,
Yeah. So you're kind of shuffling one foot forwards and then one foot back, and you're going onto the toes
yeah,
and the heel. Sorry, toes and heel or toes and flat foot depends on the version. And
yeah,
then all you're doing now is when you do that move here,
yeah.
you gotta it's kind of got smoothing it out. So you use your
Mm,
hips and the rest of your body. It's not just your legs, even though it's called crazy legs.
uh,
The movement,
um,
the proper movement comes from your whole body working.
It does look very impressive. Go and search up Crazy Legs on Juice's social media. So a bit more about some of the tech, because we talked about
Yeah,
you talked about the boot style. Now, kind of back in the day when my brother was building go-karts and all sorts of other things, there were bearings, there were
yeah,
different, the skateboards, different wheels.
yeah,
Talk to me about some of that stuff.
yeah. So you got there's different wheels. You have hard wheels. I think from figure skating, I think if I'm correct, they go up to like 105 or 107A, and then you get really soft wheels, which can go to like six.
What's 105A? What does that
So
mean?
that's hard. That's
Okay,
like
is
really, really
that the
hard.
the solidness of the plastic? I'm assuming they're
Yeah. So
plastic wheels?
it depends. It's not all plastic. You get some got clay wheels. You got you got what's the other one called? I can't remember off the top of my head. But there's like you get wheels made from all different materials. I
Wow.
remember when I was in America, and there's a guy made aluminium wheels. They were not for use, just for show, to show what he could create. And everyone was
Wow.
just like, yeah, this like your jaws on the floor, like I can't believe it that he made aluminium wheels. But yeah, so you can get wheels of all material. But the main thing is the hardness of the wheels. So
Yeah.
like I said, as a normal kind of like rink where you see rhythm skaters and so on, you mostly will get 101 A for the pros.
Do you know what that measurement is? The
So
A?
it's on the hardness of the material to allow to
Okay.
slide. So it also brings into the slip. So you
Yep.
see, like when you see, I don't know, on social media, you see people skate and they hit the side and they're just sliding across the floor. That
Yes.
helps. That helps with the hardness. You couldn't do that with an outdoor wheel, you
Yep.
know. So that's 101A is hard, and
Yep.
then like a 67A is really soft. And it's
Uh,
just sometimes you can really feel, you can squeeze it to the point where you can feel a bit of movement
yeah.
in the wheel. So that's the
So
wheels.
the softer ones are kind of used for
Softer
outdoor
for
more?
outdoors. Yeah. And they can go to varying sizes as well. So like for example, radar energy wheels, you can get as a 65 millimeter, which is the bigger one.
Yep.
It's good if you want to go long distance because it's gonna tackle the cracks and stones and that
Yep.
a lot easier. Then they do a 62 millimeter, and then you've got a 57 millimeter.
So these are the
Um,
width of the wheels,
yeah.
not the hardness.
So yeah, no, so it's not the width, it's the size, the diameter,
Okay.
the
Diameter.
poundness. So millimeter is on the size of the wheel, and
Yep.
that when it's got an A at the end, that's the hardness and the
That's so
measurements.
exciting. I'm gonna go
Um,
and look up all these, figures and go, "Oh, I can now see the difference between a hard wheel and a soft wheel," and
yeah,
feel like
smaller
I'm
wheels.
educated in skate wheels.
Smaller wheels are better for like the dance side of it. Bigger
Yeah,
wheels are more for distance.
yeah,
So that's wheels. Bearings. Um, Now this is for me. I hardly ever see the difference in bearings, no matter on the
okay,
grade, until recent. Now, so you can get bearings from all different brands, starting from ABEC Freeze, which
yeah,
is the slowest kind of bearing. I
yeah.
don't really know the details on bearings. So I'm not going to pretend I
We
do.
can make that. So the bearings are the little balls
Yeah,
that
and
go
most times they have.
inside to do
Yeah,
the turning bit
yeah. You
or
get
make it slick or not so slick. Is
yeah,
that
and you
right?
get some where you get like 6 balls, some that will have 8 balls. Six
Uh,
balls, I think, are meant to be quicker than 8 balls, if I'm correct.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and it goes up to 11, so ABEC 3 to ABEC 11. Now, in that, I rarely feel the difference. You know,
Yeah, yeah,
I don't know if it's because of I just put extra like when I've got bearings in, I just put the power in to get the move done in general, but
yeah.
I never feel the difference on the grade until
That's nice.
yeah, and I've used Bones, I've used some other skateboard brands and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But now I use quick bearings um, and the ceramic bearings. Oh, now I can feel the difference because it's just
Yeah.
smooth, fast. and never any
Nice.
problems. I haven't cleaned my bearings in, don't tell anyone, but I haven't cleaned my bearings in almost about 8 months. So,
Okay. I
you
thought
know,
you were gonna say a couple of years, but,
no,
clearly
no,
not.
eight
So
months, but that's
that's
a
about
long
the
time.
limit.
And they can,
Okay,
I don't
so
need to clean them still.
okay. Right, okay, so you have to clean your bearings if you've got bearings and you know what they are.
Yeah, yeah. The bearings are the bit that goes in the wheel that helps, that makes it go round on the axle.
I like the fact that the actual skill and ability comes from you and not the thing you're using. From a
Yeah,
creative point of view, I know how to sculpt, I know how to paint, I know how to draw and do all those creative things. And I could
yeah,
use any tool to then make that look great. But it has to be great to start with. You have to know those original techniques and
yeah,
how to move your body from an escape perspective and do all those things. So that feels really nice that the tool that you use, as in the skate,
yeah.
um, doesn't necessarily enhance or detract. It's the
No,
learning and the skill that you have intrinsically in
yeah,
you that makes it great.
yeah. That's it. That's it. And you get so many new skaters, and they're like, I need to get Arius plates. I need to get these wheels and these bearings, this boot. And I'm like, you're gonna have all the gear and no idea. Okay. Literally, you're getting a boot that most professional skaters won't even have.
Yeah,
It's not necessary. Don't get it wrong, it's nice and you can treat yourself and feel good and you
yeah,
got these and that. But at the beginning, there's no need,
yeah.
it's
You've
not
got
gonna
to
make
learn
you a
the
better
basics.
skater. No,
Yeah.
you gotta get the foundations first.
Yeah. Well, I'm counting on my, skill and ability from being 5 and 6 and skating up and down the road. That's my heritage. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that any boot wouldn't make me any better than I was a number of years ago.
Yeah.
Um,
It would
but it's
it That's the problem is it wouldn't make it's more just that when you stop skating and then you come back to it, we have fear as an adult,
yeah,
not necessarily scared of doing the skating, for example, but it's the fear of if I hurt myself, I can't do my
yes,
job, and then can't pay the bills, can't look after the kids, and all those kind
yeah,
of things. And so that's what holds us back. So once you can get over the fear of being an adult and having adulthood, responsibilities, then you can move forwards, and you'll find that it all comes back a lot quicker.
yeah. And it's having that positive mindset that you only feel pain once you think pain, maybe.
Yeah,
So having the fear is only if you think you're going to have fear, then you will. But if you go, I'm quite happy to do this, so let's just get on with it.
yeah,
Um, yeah, I've been out with a couple of friends skating, and yeah, it's that fear, and I'll just stand there for a while and watch them skate and go, "Oh my god, I'm going to fall over," and then literally gone out, put my skates on, and then not skated the whole session
yeah.
because of that fear.
You've talked it
Um,
into yourself.
yeah, completely. And but as because like there's quite a lot of people watching, so
But that's the thing with skating, no one cares. You're gonna fall
no,
over. You're gonna like the
yeah,
amount of times I've fallen over, and it's not even when I'm trying to do something cool. I'll be standing there
yeah,
and do the smallest thing, and I'll fall over. And other people, and it's like skating is the one place you can fall over, and unless you got like a really immature person, no one's really gonna laugh. You're gonna get someone coming over
yeah,
trying to help you up, and all sorts.
exactly.
Um,
Yeah.
so it's the only place you can push yourself and not worry about how you look or anything. So it's great.
You're listening to Tech Talks with Lou, and I'm Lou Temlett, and today I'm talking with Juice. So, what's next for you? You've got a massive following on social media. You're pretty much skating 24/7. What's coming up for you, and what's next?
So what's next, hopefully, is just to keep growing the social media. The more I grow it, the more people I'm reaching, the more people I get messaging me saying they just bought skates, which is amazing. Um, Also try to keep my dream going with my sponsor, which is Rydell. As many years as I can get, it will be the best. I've had the dream of being with them from pretty much when I started skating, and I just
Wow.
want it to continue now. And then also just want to be able to travel around a bit more with my girlfriend Zaira. Um, because we teach skating and we teach people how to skate. So
And she is a
um,
fantastic skater as
yeah,
well. So you make an absolute fabulous couple. I
as
love
good as
watching
me,
both of
if
you.
not better. You know, but yeah. So we just want to really travel around like the world, just teaching as many people. We have different styles, but we also blend them together nicely.
Yeah,
And also it's just the realness with us
yeah,
because we're a couple and a skate couple and we work together. It we'll teach, and then I'll be like, okay, we got to do it. The move is this way, and this way. And she'll be like, no, CJ, that's not how we practice it. It's that way, this way, and that way. And then we'll have our little moment. People will laugh, and then we'll be like,
it's
okay,
real.
and then we tell people which way do you want it, and then you can do it that way or that way, and it just shows
And
the
then it's
realness.
Cyrus' way.
Yeah, yeah. Most times it is, but it's the realness, of we're not trying to pretend to be anything. We just keep it real. We have a laugh. We make
Yeah,
fools of ourselves,
yeah,
just to kind of break the ice with skating because a lot of people are conscious of how they look. So,
yes. Yeah,
so
absolutely.
it's just to keep growing and spread skating as much as we can, and hopefully, like we said, um, dancing on wheels could be the
Exactly.
future.
Before we started recording this episode, CJ and I were having a conversation. I'm going, I'd love to be on Strictly. And we were talking about, okay, so there's Strictly, there's Dancing on Ice. And CJ was going, okay, we need Dancing on Skates or whatever cool name. You need
Yeah,
to come up with a cool name,
yeah.
CJ.
I think
And
of
you and
one.
Zyra can be the hosts. And we're going to do this TV show. Anyway,
Yeah,
it's out there. It's being manifested right now.
that's
So
it.
positive
That is it.
mindset. Yeah, you need to set your targets and your deadlines for when that's going to happen, CJ.
Yeah,
I'll be
well,
following you.
try and get a pilot out this year, and then we can
Yay!
put that out to people and hopefully get some funding and make it something. You know,
Exactly.
there's
Um,
enough. There's like Netflix and all these social media, not social media, but web servers now where you can watch stuff. So it doesn't have to be
yeah,
on mainstream TV either. So
exactly. So you can produce it, do your competition, have yeah. Oh
yeah,
my goodness, I can see it now. So
so can I.
you're like, there's ideas. Okay,
Yeah.
so where can people find you? Because you both teach in person over in
Mhm.
Bristol.
Yeah. So in Bristol, we're with a company called Bump Roller Disco. You can also find that on social media, meaning Instagram, which is literally Bump Roller Disco. You also have my Instagram, which is juice, like the drink, dot true story as one word. I also have a joint account with Zyra, which is where we teach skating and teach people how to skate and all the other bits. And that is Bump Movement. Okay. And then also you have Zyra's channel, just in case you want more of the sexy dancing going on and stuff with the moves. Then that is Zyra Tari underscore roller.
And all of these will be on the links on the episode show notes, so don't worry about that. And I'm sure I can put in some kind of tech links to all the wheels, the heeled boots, the flat boots, the bearings, all of those things. So yeah, we'll get all of that in the show notes as well. But
Yeah.
you've had such an incredible journey, CJ, and I'm really grateful for you being here and sharing at least part of your story, and looking forward to what's coming up for you. Keep growing, keep having that wonderful mindset, and I'm going to be watching. And yeah, I might even get some more practicing in and
Thank you
get
very
down to
much.
Bump Roller Disco
Yes, make
very
sure you come down.
soon.
Make sure you come down. Get a little private lesson. Well, whilst the rink's open, but I can show you a few moves
Yeah,
to
that's
take away
cool.
and practice.
Exactly. I'll be yeah, following the crazy legs.
No,
But
not the
it's
crazy legs. I'll teach you the swerve instead, which is my own move.
oh,
It's better.
that sounds like a great idea. CJ, thank you so much for today.
No problem.
Hopefully we'll catch up, but yeah, go and get your skates on.
Yeah, I will do. Take care. I'm gonna go make some tutorials right now, actually. So
Yay,
thank
well
you for
done.
having me.
No worries. Cheers.
Take care. Bye.
I hope you've enjoyed this episode as much as I have recording it. I look forward to have you listening in again for the next episode. And in the meantime, I'd love you to rate, review, and download this episode. Thanks again for listening.